What's shaking, AuthorTube? My name is Cam. Cam the man. You know what? I'll keep working on my nickname, but for now, let's just jump into it. This video is not so much me telling you how you should be doing something, but more so me showing you how I do something, and you can take with that information what you will. Today I'm showing you how I outline my books. Obviously not every writer outlines, obviously outlining doesn't work for everyone, but for me in particular, I cannot do a book productively and effectively unless I have the skeleton of a story for me to put the flesh onto, if you know what I mean. If there's no foundation for me to build off of with my stories, I just kind of fall into the void, just falling and falling and falling into the void. So it's a good thing I have a general idea of how to plan my stories. I'm going to show you exactly how I do it, and there's only really one program you need to do what I do, although two if you want to do it the right way. Those two programs are Microsoft Word or any type of document writing app, which you should have if you're a writer. And the second one is called WriteMapper. You might remember I was provided the application for free in exchange for a review a while ago in one of my apps for writers videos, which I'll leave a link for if you want to check out my full review on it. But that's a really handy program that I've actually learned to love and incorporate into my outlining. This video isn't another review for that application or an advertisement for that application. I'm just telling you I have it and I use it. That's all. So here's how it goes. You know, you're doing whatever. Maybe you're taking a dump. Maybe you're having a shower. Maybe you're making love. Ow! You're doing something. And then, well, bam! The story idea hits you. You jump into your notes app, you write it down, you make sure you have it there saved, or if you've watched my most recent Apps for Writers video, you put it in your writer app, and then when you have a moment to yourself, you sit down in your comfy new computer chair that got lost in the mail for a little while, and you get to outlining. So here's what I do. I have a Word document, just like the one you're seeing right now, and I have 5 essential headlines, and I have them highlighted and bolded because I'm going to be writing under those headlines. And those headlines are the working title, the plot, the characters, the locations, and the chapter summary. You might add in some more of, for example, if you're doing a fantasy story, you might add in a headline for creatures or for lore if you're doing a whole world building with lore and myth and all that kind of stuff. But for this video, let's say it's a book about someone loving cheese a whole lot. So we might call it Third Cheese Wheel. Hell yeah. You know, like third wheel, but it's a wheel of cheese. This is why I'm creative. So that's the working title. The plot. Obviously, you would do a whole lot more than I'm going to be doing right now. But basically, you would have a plot along the lines of... The important part here is to keep it in a short paragraph. It doesn't need to be perfect, so it's not the type of thing that you would be showing people. This is just for you. This whole outline is just for you, so you don't need to make it pretty or make it sound like something you would find in the blurb of the book. The important thing is just that you know what it is when you look at it. So the plot could be, man finds enchanted wheel of cheese. Eating it can save his lover's life, but also threatens time itself. God damn, I am good. So boom, there's the plot in pretty much like 2 sentences. Characters, you would have like, Tim maybe is the person, and then here's the important part for characters, and then you go space dash, and then I put down traits, so it'll be like personality traits, characteristics. It might be something like green eyes, very selfish, blah, blah, blah. You might have like 10, you might have 5, you might have 20 of those. It's just important traits, and you want to do that for all of the characters you have as you go. So as you're writing the story, you might come up with the new characters, and you add them into there, because the thing is, and this is an issue a lot of writers will run into if they don't have an outline, is later on in the story, they'll be writing about one of their characters and they'll forget, either how a character would react to something, or they forget something like the character's eye color, and they'll have to search through their story for a mention of the character's eye color to keep consistency. If you have an outline with stuff like this, it's all going to be there and it's readily available. So then obviously you have locations, and it's the same thing. So if it's a real world, that's easy. You don't really need to do a whole lot more. You could just do like the name of the town, for example, Brisbane, like where I live. And you could just leave it at that. Or if there's something very important about the location, you could do like within Brisbane, there could be like Gateway Bridge collapsed, maybe. I don't know. Could be like post-apocalyptic or something. Post-apocalypse, cheese, time-traveling story. Goddamn. Chapter summary. Now this is the most important part of the outline, but it's also something that I feel like half the people watching are going to do, half people won't, and obviously that's fine. Basically, chapter summary, what I do is I put down, quite literally, a 2 or 3 sentence brief for every single chapter that I intend in having having in the story. For example, chapter 1, Tim finds cheese but doesn't eat it, is fired from job, blah blah blah. Basically, you want to list all of the important things that happen within that chapter very briefly. Don't write out an in-depth thing like saying how they feel or all that kind of stuff. That's stuff that needs to come organic. Well, in my opinion, that's stuff that for me in my writing needs to come organically, so it doesn't feel like I'm writing from a script. It needs to be organic to feel natural and to feel relatable for the reader. So I'm basically dot pointing. That's what I'm doing. I'm listing all of the chapters and dot pointing what I want to happen in those chapters. Here's another important thing with chapter summaries. It's going to change a lot as I'm writing, and I mean a lot. All of the chapter summaries I've ever done with my writing, and I'm including a lot of works that I haven't finished or published yet or anything like that, all of the chapter summaries I've done have changed extensively as I write, and that's the beauty of it. You just go back to the outline later and you fix it up, you change it as you go. The purpose of the chapter summary is just to basically create a lane for myself so I know where the end destination is and I know the general checkpoints along the way. It doesn't matter if I go outside of the lane every now and then, it's just I need to have a general idea of where the finish line is and how to get there, or how I would like to get there. So yeah, once that's all done, that's the hard part, I guess, if you want to call it hard. After that, I go to the WriteMapper software, and you'll start with just one bubble, and quite literally all I do is copy all of the stuff from the outline document into this, because this is the easier way of finding it. The Word document is the easiest place to create the outline, but copying it into here is the best way for you to locate certain things later on in the story. So what happens is, if you haven't seen the software before, like I said, you can go check out how to use it and my review on it in the other video I linked. But basically, you start off with a bubble, and you'll want that to be the title of the book or the working title, and then you create sub-bubbles, I guess. So you have plot, and then you'll double-click that, and you'll copy paste the plot from the other one, from the Word document, and you have characters. Here's the thing with characters, because there's subcategories of characters, don't just copy and paste them into the characters bubble. What you do is you get the characters bubble and you add more bubbles, and then this will be like Tim. And then you go into it. Oh, that shouldn't be there. That should be on characters. So then you go into Tim, and then you copy and paste his traits like green eyes, etc., etc. So then you'll have a solar system basically of your outline, and it's just great. It's all color coded. Mine's in dark mode right now, but there's a light mode. You can change the colors, fonts, you can zoom in and out, all that kind of stuff. Like I said, this isn't a review. I just genuinely think it's very useful software, that's all. So yeah, locations, add sub-bubbles again. Chapters, add sub-bubbles. And what you'll find you'll end up with is, in a circle around that book bubble, you'll have just a solar system. It'll look like you're looking at a map of like planets, but it's of your outline, and everything's easy to find. But yeah, it's relatively painless, isn't it? That is quite literally all I do to outline my story. Once I have those 2 things completed and done, I get to write, and I jump into a Word document or a Google Doc, and I just start. I always know the direction I'm meant to be going in. I always have a general idea of what should happen next, and that makes it really easy to finish the story. And then when I go through the second draft, I touch up things, I change things, I take stuff out, I put other stuff in. That's where I'm basically polishing what I hope isn't a turd, but I'm hoping is the foundation of a house. It's like a cake. Like ogres.
Layers!
So that's how I outline my stories. If you want to check out any of my other writing tips videos, I've got a playlist. Very easy to find. I talk about stuff like writing cliches to avoid. As always, thanks, and I'll see you in the next video. Catcha. What's that? Oh, you like my shirt? Oh, thank you. Thanks. It's actually specifically designed for readers and writers. Want to see it? Very cool. Link in description.